All right. Good evening, everybody. Today we will be playing Proliferate Cube again. Hopefully, not being forced into mono red. I feel like Penthead Prism is a really good thing to pick here. Bastion of Remembrance also seems like fun for like the black sacrifice deck. I think it is. Yeah, let's try to do the sacrifice thing. There's not a lot of black in that pack, so we can cut black by taking this card. Pentad Prism may have been the most generically powerful thing there. So Aether Poisoner makes a token. Animating Fairy turns an artifact into an actual creature, in addition to being a creature itself. I like Metamorph, because Metamorph can be very strong. Retribution of Ancients doesn't strike me as particularly good. I guess we take Aether Poisoner. It's got Death Touch, which makes it hard to swing past, and it can make tokens. So Yawgmoth Thrawn Physician is one of the premier Aristocrats effects. I like Drana as well, but Yawgmoth really fits the theme of what's going to be going on here. Would not mind wheeling a Legion's Landing, or Drana, or really even an Unlicensed Disintegration. So, take Yawgmoth. There's a Blade of the Blood Chief, which can be used to make creatures quite large. I think I take Blood Throne Vampire, though, to have a another Aristocrat effect. Ooh. Scrapyard Recombiner. We could add artifact shenanigans to the deck, because there is a Vault Scourge going around, which I would not mind playing in a deck like this. Spire of Industry could potentially be good as well. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Scrapyard Recombiner. Don't know if I'm playing it. Kind of depends on how many artifact themed things we get. Okay, we have a Sacred Foundry, a Mere Sire, and a Fume Spitter. Fume Spitter is nice because it can self-sacrifice, but Mere Sire is 2 creatures. I think I'm going to take Mere Sire. Alright, the Ozolith is very powerful, and Hardened Scales is in fact in this cube. There's a Blood-Soaked Champion which we could use to recur itself very easily. We don't really have a lot of things that do counters right now. Scrapyard Recombiner has Modular. I think we're better off taking the Blood-Soaked Champion, just because of the synergy with Yawgmoth. I think it's quite good. Mikaeus the Lunarch. I think Mikaeus is probably the most insane, I've said it's in the same pack as a Scrubland, but every other turn, all of your creatures get a +1/+1 counter. That's pretty good. Not to mention he can come down on turn 2. So I'm going to take Mikaeus the Lunarch, and we're going to see what happens. I may not be playing white, but white is one of the colors that pairs well with black in this cube. Alright, there's a Memnite, a Mere Retriever, and a Nesting Grounds. Move a counter from a permanent you control onto another permanent. Memnite is just kind of aggressive. Mere Retriever is good value, but is overcosted for a 1/1. I think I'm going to try taking a Memnite. Don't know if I'm actually going to play it or not. Ornithopter could also be hilarious, but probably Revoker is better. Yeah, I'm going to take Revoker. Okay, Legion's Landing is another reason to sort of go into white. Okay, there's an Unbreakable formation, which is not bad when you're playing aggressive. I don't know if it's necessarily main deckable, but I think the fact that it adds counters is probably enough to push it across the line. Guess I'll take a Krenko. It's probably better than a Shade of Trocaire, but don't think we're playing it. Red would be the other color we would play if we weren't playing white. Speaking of, Sacred Foundry and Crater Maker. They could let us splash into red a little bit. So let's see. In this pack we have Putrid Goblin, which fits the sacrifice theme. Cling to Dust seems kind of good. Let's see. Vizier of Remedies. Vizier of Remedies goes infinite with Putrid Goblin, or any other creature we get with Persist. I kind of like Vizier of Remedies. I'm going to take it. Fatal Push is good. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord. It's a way to reanimate some cheap stuff. Actually kind of like that. Fate's Fetters is really good. Sunhome Stalwart would be playable. I think we just take the Planeswalker. You can reanimate some good creatures. There's a Blast Zone, an Energy Chamber, a Triumph of Gerard, a Quill Spike, Rishkar, and a Tragic Slip. Tragic Slip's pretty decent removal. Don't have any reason to put charge counters on stuff, but Energy Chamber could be good. Triumph of Gerard's not bad either. I think I take the removal, though. Tragic Slip's better in an Aristocrats deck because you can just sack stuff that you don't need to turn on Tragic Slip to kill basically anything. Marsh Flats here is really good, but it's also in the pack with Carrion Feeder, which is an excellent sack outlet, which is one of the effects that's going to be hardest for us to find, I have a feeling. So we're going to take Carrion Feeder. Even though it's a little bit narrow, I think this is the deck that kind of wants to take that early. Spread the Sickness seems okay as removal. It's really expensive in a deck like this. But I don't see us playing Unlife. Loxodon is somewhat kind of what we would be doing, but Loxodon's better in decks that are a little more aggressive than what we're playing right now. I think I'll take the Spread the Sickness. Okay, Knight of the Ebon Legion is a good aggressive creature for a deck like ours. Giant Killer is more reactionary. Black is going to be our primary color, so I think we take the Knight. We'd like another couple of recurring creatures if we could get like a Gravecrawler in addition to our Blood-Soaked champion. Something to that effect. It could be really good. Nether Trader I think technically counts. It's one of the recursive creatures that exists in the like modern-ish format. Alright, we've got a Nissa of Shadowed Boughs, a Mox Tantalite, Rugged Prairie, Powder Keg. I guess we take Fretwork Colony. It's just a creature that gets bigger over time. Okay, there's a Painsmith, which could be good, but we don't have quite enough artifacts for that. I think we take... Sorry, I just realized I never read or evaluated this card. Yeah, we're going to take Grind to Dust. Spined Thopter is probably the most playable for us. It's a 2-mana 2/1 flyer, which is not bad. Sunhome Stalwart is playable in a deck like this, but I'm going to take the Thopter. Blast Zone could be good, but I'm going to take Triumph. We have a lot of low mana cost stuff, which Blast Zone could line up pretty poorly with. In addition, our mana might be hard depending on what kind of things we pick up in the near future. So, Quest for the Gravelord is a payoff for a sacrifice deck. Dreadhorde Butcher would be good if we were also playing red, but take Quest for the Gravelord. I guess we take Loxodon. Ragehound wouldn't be bad, but Lightning Coils is also technically a payoff for creatures dying. Don't know if I'll be playing that one. Put Tajik in the sideboard. Alright, pack number 3. There's Yahenni, who is not bad for aristocrat things. There's a Steel Overseer, which would be better if we'd had more artifact creatures. We have a decent number. Lamphead of Death's Vigil turns anything that we have into 1 damage on our opponent guaranteed. Is that better than Yahenni? I kind of like Yahenni a little bit more. We'd like some more Blood Artist effects if we can find them. Skyclave Shade is a recursive creature that we could kick to make actually kind of big. Soul Diviner, removing counters from stuff. We did not get the 2/2 Goblin with Persist. We do have some number of ways to... Oh yeah, but this is blue. What am I thinking? Probably we should just take the recursive creature. I don't think we get any of the... We could also take Grateful Apparition, I guess? Let me think about that. Grateful Apparition's probably better, actually, now that I think about it. Polluted Delta would be good, but we're not going to probably get Godless Shrine or... and what was it? Plateau or Scrubland. Scrubland is the one that already went by. I'm going to take the Apparition. Okay, Lazotep Reaver is good. What does Flesh Carver do? Sack a creature, put 2/1/1 counters on Flesh Carver. When it dies, make an XX horror where X is its power. Sphere of the Suns I like, but our curve is fairly low. Lazotep Reaver is just aggressive, as well as it makes 2 bodies, which could be relevant. I don't like giving my dudes Infect. I don't think that's good. I think I take an Arcbound Worker. Acacian Javelineers at one point was a really good card, I think. Seal of Cleansing, probably don't need for sideboard, or it might come around. I'm going to take the Javelineers. We have an Astral Cornucopia, a Jinxed Choker. Let's take Ruinous Path and just have, like, a good removal spell. Plus, if we get mana screwed, 7 mana to make a threat and kill a creature that is our opponent's is probably good. Can it also hit Planeswalkers? It can. That could be relevant. Okay, I really like Bloodchief's Thirst. Knight of the White Orchid's not bad, and Culling Deus is nice. There is a Vivid Marsh. We're only ever going to be running single white things, though, so we actually can get away without the Vivid Marsh. Yeah, I'm going to take the good removal. Vishkal Blood Arbiter. 7 mana, sack a creature, put X/1/1 counters on it, where X is the sack creature's power. You remove all -1/-1 counters from him, and target creature gets -1/-1 for each counter removed this way. Yeah, I'll take Vishkal. We'll play him as a single top end if we can ever get to 7 mana. Which would be dope, but... Ooh, Heliod. Heliod seems good. So does Porcelain Legionnaire, but Heliod's a lot better. Okay, I think we go Lampad here. Yeah, this could be an Angrath kind of deck. Collective Effort is the only card in this pack I could see us playing. Guess we'll put the Hex Mage in the sideboard versus anything running Planeswalkers. Valorous Stance if we need more removal. And Gargadon and Volley to the side, which means we are not playing Sacred Foundry and have no fixing. Alright, we have far too many cards to build an actual deck right now, so we've got to do a lot of trimming. Gonna group creatures separately. Don't think we're playing Scrapyard Recombiner or Memnite at all. Okay, I don't like Lightning Coils. Collective Effort's a little hard to cast. Not a huge fan of Venerated Loxodon in this deck. Nether Trader is nice, but at the same time... I guess any recursive creature is going to be really good in this deck, so we should keep it. Spread the Sickness seems a little expensive. We do have better creature removal in the form of Tragic Slip, Bloodchief's Thirst, Ruinous Path. I don't like Triumph of Gerard. We're not really going to go tall on a single creature, unless we're, you know, playing one of these clowns up here. Probably running 2 creatures too many right now. Yeah, I'm going to drop the Javelineers. They just don't do enough. We don't have enough actual Proliferate to make them good either. Maybe we don't run Vishkal. Okay. I gotta cut 4 cards now. Angrath is a way to, like, make a big swing because of his static ability. Wait a minute, Soren says, as long as it's your turn, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. That's really good. I'm going to drop Ruinous Path. I think I'm going to drop Angrath. We'll drop Unbreakable Formation. We can bring it in versus a deck running board wipes. I guess our worst card's probably Aether Poisoner. Alright. I think we have ourselves a deck. Really. I'm going to go 10 and 6. That should let us get to our white mana relatively quickly. We do have several double black cards, so hopefully it doesn't ever become a problem. Just always draw perfect mana and you'll have great games of Magic, right? Alright, round 1, here we go. Sure. we'll keep. Opponent starts Young Wolf. We draw a Spined Thopter, start Swamp, pass the turn. It'll have the option of playing Nether Trader or Yaheni or Nether Trader or Vizier of Remedies on turn 2. Winding Constrictor along with or opposite of Yawgmoth is kind of funny. I'm gonna play Nether Trader. Get in for 1. Okay, opponent plays a Scavenging Ooze, which is kind of annoying. They hit us for 3. We draw Plains. I think we play a Heliod. And we'll go ahead and attack for 1, because we can't block, because Nether Trader has Shadow. Okay, opponent plays an Experiment 1 and a Quirion Dryad. Okay, they attack for 5. That's fine. Alright, so the play this turn, I think, is not what I thought it was going to be. So the play this turn, I think, is we use Grind, and we can kill 2 2/2s because of Winding Constrictor. So we can kill Scavenging Ooze, and we can kill Quirion Dryad. Nice. We're going to lifelink up the Nether Spirit here, because it is about to become its own problem with Heliod, unless they have a way to kill it. Attack for 1. Put a counter on it. Okay. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. Gets in for a bit. We take 4 and go to 8. Untap, we draw Quest for the Gravelord. So I think we just play Yawgmoth this turn, but we're going to attack first. And our opponent for 2, take them to 15. Play Yawgmoth, who has a protection from Experiment 1. Okay, opponent untaps. They draw land. They play Rishkar, Pima, Renegade. They get an Evolve trigger, which they should stack to be the top trigger, I think. They're going to put counters on Winding Constrictor and Young Wolf. Okay. But it goes to combat. Attacks like that. So we are going to block here. And we are going to A1 life, target Winding Constrictor, sack Nether Trader. Put 2 -1/-1 counters on Winding Constrictor and draw a card. Get a Swamp. Go to 2. Need a way to gain life. I mean, we have Heliod, of course, but... Let's play a Plains. Play Vizier. Play Yaheni, I think. Okay, pass the turn. Okay, opponent goes to combat. Attacks with everybody. So block here. Block here. Block here. Okay. Then we... Yawgmoth. Pay 1 life. Sack Vizier. Kill Rishkar. We can't pay for Nether Trader. Yawgmoth kills Rishkar. We draw a card. Yaheni grows. Trades with the Young Wolf. And it stays dead because it already has 1/1 counters on it. We still can't pay for Nether Trader. Okay. When it draws and plays a Crawl Harpooner with no legal targets. Okay. So we untap. We draw Plains. Okay, let me think about this. We can play a Plains, pay 2 mana to give Yawgmoth lifelink. Then we can attack. We can play Revoker, block... shoot. I think we just play Revoker and do like a big lifelink play, I guess. Hang on. Yeah, play Plains, play Revoker. We'll name Experiment 1, because Experiment 1 does have a regeneration ability. Pass the turn. When it plays a Renegade Krasis, goes to combat, attacks with everybody. So block here, go lifelink and lifelink. Heliod doing so much work right now. Go up by 2 life. 2 counters onto Yawgmoth here. Can't pay for Nether Trader. Okay. So then we untap. Draw Lazotep Reaver, which is actually fantastic. So start by giving Yawgmoth lifelink. Go to combat, attack for 4. Okay, they go to 11, we go up to 7. Yawgmoth gets a counter. We play a Lazotep Reaver. Make a zombie. We're gonna kill Renegade Krasis by sacking Lazotep Reaver. Pay to get back Nether Trader. Then we pay killing Nether Trader to shrink this down to a 1/1. Opponent's going to regenerate. That kills it. Not sure why they did that, but okay. Okay, then we're going to pay 1 life. Sack the zombie army, which does trigger Nether Trader. Get back Nether Trader. Turn Winding Constrictor into a 0/1. And we draw Legion's Landing, which I think was the perfect card for us to have drawn. Get a 1/1 vampire with lifelink. Alright, pass the turn. Winding Constrictor right now doing more harm than good. But it plays a Jiang Yang Gu. I don't know how to pronounce that name. So they can undo the -1/-1 counters. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll just sack Nether Trader and kill it in response. Okay. I'm not gonna adjust the deck, I'm just gonna run it back. Alright, this is a pretty good 1-2-3 curve, so I can't really say no to this. Opponent did mulligan to 6. Starts Forest. Plays a Greenbelt Rampager, I think. Doesn't show up because I F6, but they gained 1 energy, so that's the only thing I can think of that would have done that. Play a Vampire, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Scavenging Ooze. We draw a Nether Trader. So, Phyrexian Revoker, name Scavenging Ooze, pass the turn. Next turn we can flip Legion's Landing by attacking with Yahenni, because Yahenni has haste. Same with Nether Trader. Okay, opponent plays a Tuskguard Captain. All creatures with 1/1 counters they control have trample. We untap, we draw Plains, play a Plains, play a Yahenni, go to combat, and I think we are just going to flip Legion's Landing. Okay, opponent blocks Phyrexian Revoker. Don't think it makes a difference if we sack it or if we don't, so let Revoker die. We could eat Revoker to make Scavenging Ooze a 3/3. They do have the option to Outlast. Okay, they have Rishkar, so they're going to put 1/1 counters on probably both their other creatures. Yep. Now they can add mana, or they have Trample. My opponent can just play out a Greenbelt Rampager as well. Nope. They eat the Phyrexian Revoker and attack us for 4. Take 4. We untap, we draw a Sorin Vengeful Bloodlord. Play a Swamp. Play a Mere Sire and a Nether Trader. Go to combat. Attack here and here. Okay, no blocks for the opponent. They take 3. We pass the turn. We do need some decent removal to deal with our opponent's creatures. Alright, there's the Greenbelt Rampager. They play it once and get an energy. They play it again. They attack for 9. Okay. Take 9, go to 6. We untap, we draw planes, so play Sorin. Go to combat. Attack here. I think just there. And then we will ping our opponent for 1. Gain 1 life. Problem is, we only have lifelink on our turn, which is why I was really considering attacking with Yahenni, but we have to block everything that doesn't have a 1/1 counter on it. Okay. So we block here, and we block here. Hang on. They'd be hitting us for 7. Okay. So what we do is we sack the token, give Yahenni Indestructible. This prevents a creature card from being in our graveyard, so we're only going to take 7. Yahenni gets bigger. Okay, opponent plays a Teleport Cutthroat. Kind of interested as to why they didn't do that sooner. Okay, we untap. We draw a Quest for the Gravelord. Ping our opponent for 1. Play Quest. Play a Plains. Go to combat. I think we attack with the team. Okay, so we gain a bunch of life. So we sack Nether Trader. Counter on Quest for the Gravelord. And we sack Mere Sire. We will pay for Nether Trader. Another counter on Quest. Get a Mirror. Okay, then we're gonna pass. Alright, experiment 1. Kinda hoping my opponent taps out of green so there's no Scavenging Ooze shenanigans. They go to combat. They attack for 4, which they can do 5, 6 damage total. I think that's okay. Yeah, no blocks. Yeah, they only do the 4. They're gonna cast a Den Protector. And evolve Experiment 1. Okay. Make a token. Untap. We draw a Swamp. Opponent does have 1 green mana. We could try and reanimate Mere Sire, but I think we have to uptick in order to have a remote chance of winning. So ping our opponent. Oh, I guess I should have made a 5/5 on my opponent's end step. Alright, attack like this. Okay, opponent blocks. Yeah. Sack Nether Spirit. Counter on Quest for the Grave Lord. Yeheni indestructible, so she doesn't die. Make a big 5/5 zombie. And then, yeah, I guess play a swamp and pass. Okay, opponent plays a Crawl Harpooner, which evolves Experiment 1. Okay, no legal targets for Crawl Harpooner. They play a Servant of the Scale. Okay, modular without being modular, I guess. Opponent swings out. Think this isn't lethal. I think we survive this. Opponent's really thinking about it too. Changes their mind for no attacks. Activate a Danto. Get a 1/1. Untap. Draw Tragic Slip. Tragic Slip's kind of interesting. So we're not reanimating because our opponent has an ooze. So just ping them for 1. And I think I am going to attack with both Yeheni and the Zombie Giant. We can Tragic Slip to get rid of all of their trample. And then we're going to have a number of tokens to block. Okay, opponent throws a 1/1 under the Zombie Giant. The Green Pelt Rampager in front of Yeheni. We could just let Yeheni die. No. We'll sack the Mirror. Pay black for Nether Trader, which our opponent could have stopped us from getting. Gain a bunch of life. Put a 1/1 counter on Yeheni. Opponent drains us for 1. Put a 1/1 counter on Den Protector. Sure. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and Tragic Slip the Tuskguard Captain now. Okay, we lose a life, our opponent gains a life. Nothing of theirs has trample anymore. Which is nice. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Fume Spitter. They go to combat. Attack everybody at us. Fume Spitter to kill a soldier. We get a counter on Yeheni. Zolaport Cutthroat drains us for 1. They kill a vampire. We activate a Danto. We can block 2 things. Which means we probably need to block here and here for maximum damage reduction, meaning we take 3, 6, 9, 10 damage, gain 2 back, going to 15, going to 5. Okay, they eat the Mirror Sire. They gain a life. They eat Fume Spitter and gain a life. Okay, but they're completely tapped out and we have lethal on board. We untap. Draw a Swamp. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 11. Alright. Man. Mono lifelink shenanigans keeping us alive at 1 life. And some pretty grindy games of Magic. Alright, round 2, here we go. Would love to play first. Well, it's not terrible. We have plays, so I'm going to keep. Okay, opponent did mulligan to 6. Start Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent starts Plains. Draw Grind to Dust, so play a Swamp. Play Lazotep Reaver. We amass. So if my opponent plays a creature here, we can Bloodchief's Thirst to kill it. Then play Phyrexian Revoker and, I don't know, name something. Okay. Their opponent is also Orzhov. They oust Lazotep Reaver and not the token. Okay. We draw a Quest for the Grave Lord, so go to combat. Attack for 1. Play Quest for the Grave Lord. And I'm going to Phyrexian Revoker, and I'm going to take a wild shot in the dark and say Liliana, the Last Hope. Because that would be a card that would completely wreck us. I don't even know if it's in this cube. Okay, opponent plays a Heliod, the Sun Crowned. We draw a Lazotep Reaver. So play Lazotep Reaver. Amass 1 to make our zombie army bigger. And we'll attack them for 4. Okay, opponent untaps. I just noticed they're playing 3 colors. We will use Parting Thoughts, or we will use Quest for the Gravelord's ability. They Parting Thoughts to our zombie army, which did draw them 2 cards. We draw Mikaeus, the Lunarch. So we are going to play him X2, go to combat, and attack for 3. Mikaeus, if he survives, is really going to do a number on our opponent. Because like I said, just antheming all of your guys every other turn is really good. Okay, opponent plays Melira, which looks like one of them infinite combo type creatures. It also makes Grind to Dust absolutely terrible. So play a Swamp. Let's go ahead and play a Bloodthrone Vampire. Counter up everybody. And we're going to try and Bloodchief's Thirst Melira. Okay. Counter on Quest for the Gravelord. And attack for 5. Honestly, think I'm just going to sack Mikaeus at end step to turn him into a 5/5. I don't even think the extra 1/1 counters are necessary. Okay, opponent plays a Reflecting Pool. And they get a Putrid Goblin. Play a Johnny the Great-Hearted. They gain 3 life and they go to 8. They put a 1/1 counter on the Putrid Goblin. Yeah, I think the 5/5 is still more worth it here. So make a 5/5 on our opponent's end step. Untap. We draw Yahenni, and I think that's lethal. Play Yahenni. Go to combat. Yeah, and if my opponent blocks the giant, they die. If my opponent blocks the Bloodthrone Vampire, they also die. So I think we got him. Yeah, that's lethal. Nice. Aristocrats getting there. Do we play anything out of the sideboard here? It's possible we want like a collective effort, but double white's going to be very hard, so I'm not going to bring it in. Alright. I'm willing to try this. If my opponent starts off with a 1-drop, it dies. We can play a Growing 2-drop, followed up with a Hasty 3. Start Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains. Play a Swamp, play Fretwork Colony. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Reflecting Pool. 3 mana, they play Brimaz. Okay. Lose a life, counter on the colony. We draw a Blood-Soaked Champion, which is another creature that can't block. Can we race Brimaz? I think so. So play Vizier, play Champion, pass the turn, no attacks. Next turn we can 4 mana kill Brimaz if we need to. Him making tokens is annoying, but I don't think it's the end of the world. 4 mana. A Johnny. What does this do? Adversary of Tyrants. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Okay. We'll take 5. We untap. Draw plains. Play a Swamp. We could kill a Johnny with Bloodchief's Thirst. But I think we just killed Ramaz because we cannot let them have a token engine that powerful. And now we swing out at Ajani. If they don't want Ajani to die, they have to block with no value Fretwork Colony. And if they do want to block with value, they lose Ajani. Okay, Ajani down. That's good. Okay, opponent plays a Heliod. Hits in for 1, puts a counter on the soldier. Alright, the game has gotten to the point where the lag is just too great. So we'll go ahead and restart. We played a Plains, we played Yeheni, and now we're going to combat and attacking with everybody. Okay, no blocks for the opponent. They take a bunch of damage. Pass. Okay, they give the Cat Soldier lifelink. They go to combat, they get in for 2. They put a 1/1 counter on it. And play a Putrid Goblin. Okay. Believe that's not good for us. We put a counter on Fretwork Colony, we draw Plains, play a Plains, and play a Bastion of Remembrance, make a soldier, go to combat, and attack with everybody. Okay, opponent chumps the Fretwork Colony and blocks the Vizier of Remedies. That's fine. Okay, opponent gets to persist. Opponent loses a life, we gain a life. We put a counter on Yeheni. Sack Blood-Soaked Champion. Gain a life. Opponent loses a life. Oh shoot. And raid Blood-Soaked Champion back to the battlefield because it doesn't specify only as a sorcery. But now we can chump the Cat Soldier and Sack. So if they attack with just one thing, they won't be able to connect with a lifelink hit, which is a big deal. Council's Judgment. Okay, see what they vote for. They name Yeheni. We also vote Yeheni. When it goes to combat, attacks for 3. Unfortunately, Blood-Soaked Champion cannot block. Do we block? I don't think so. So opponent lifelinks up Heliod. Lifelinks up with Heliod. Heliod trigger, they're going to undo the -1/-1 counter on Putrid Goblin. We untap, lose a life. We get our own Heliod, which is going to make a huge difference. Okay, lifelink up Fretwork Colony. Go to combat. And attack for 6 with lifelink. Okay, opponent chumps. We're going to gain life. And we're going to put it on, I guess, the soldier. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent's just gonna, I think, repeat exactly what they did last turn. I'm not gonna block. Okay. Opponent gains 3, Heliod trigger, undoes persist. Okay. Untap, lose a life, 1/1 counter on Fretwork Colony. We draw Knight of the Ebon Legion. So go to combat. Attack here and attack here. Okay, opponent chumps and chumps. Lifelink here. We're going to unexpectedly absent Fretwork Colony. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. 1/1 counter on the human soldier. Play Knight of the Ebon Legion. Pass the turn. Leave up mana to pump the Knight. Okay, opponent plays a Rustic Klatchen, and then a Johnny the Great-Hearted. Gains life. Counter on the Soldier. And a Carrion Feeder. Okay. Kind of smells like an infinite life combo. Because they do have Malira. Play a Swamp. Give this guy lifelink. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 1. They chump with the Putrid Goblin. So pump the Knight. Oh, yeah. I think we're probably dead. Because now we can't gain life anymore since they have a sack outlet. Plus we can only block one thing, so... Raid Bloodsoaked Champion pass the turn. Okay, opponent gains life. Counter on the Putrid Goblin. Alright. I wish we had some sort of removal for Heliod, but we really don't. Indestructible enchantments are particularly tough to deal with, short of Erase. Okay. We'll play first. Really wish we had black mana. I think we have to mulligan. Okay. I might be able to work with this. I'm going to put back Lampad of Death's Vigil. It's another good Aristocrat effect, but we have a Carrion Feeder, and I want to keep Sorin Bloodlord because he is powerful. So start by playing Carrion Feeder. Pass the turn. Draw Bastion of Remembrance. Play Mirror-Sire. I think I am just going to get a counter onto Carrion Feeder now. We lose out on a damage from Bastion of Remembrance, but we still gain that damage back by sacking, so... Okay, opponent plays a Malira. We draw Mikaeus. Ooh, do we want to play Bastion or do we want to play Mikaeus? I kind of like Mikaeus. Well, we can wait. Go to combat, attack for 2. No blocks for our opponent. Okay, play Mikaeus. Pass the turn. I'm going to play a Fetid Heath Grind. Right, sack Mikaeus. But it puts a -1/-1 to shrink it back down to a 2/2. No attacks. We untap. Draw a Swamp. Play a Swamp. Play Sorin. Down tick on Sorin, reanimate Mirror-Sire. Go to combat. Attack for 2 with lifelink. Opponent no blocks. Pass the turn. Okay, get a Plains. It plays in a Johnny. Probably puts a 1/1 counter on Malira. Okay, we untap. Draw a Lazotep Reaver. Play Bastion of Remembrance. Go to combat. Attack a Johnny, attack a Johnny, attack a Johnny. But it blocks that mirror. So sack it. Counter on Carrion Feeder, ping our opponent for 1. We gain 1. Johnny takes 4, goes to 1. We uptick Sorin to kill a Johnny. Okay, pass the turn. Well, I actually should probably not be F6'd because if my opponent were to cast something like a board wipe, we would want the ability to respond and sack our board. That sort of thing. Okay, opponent does nothing. We draw a swamp. Play a swamp. Go to combat. Attack with the team. Opponent blocks the token, so sack the token. Ping our opponent for 1. Counter on the carrion feeder. When it hits for 5, goes to 7. Play Lazotep Reaver. Make a zombie. Sack the Mirror Sire. Ping our opponent. Reanimate Mirror Sire. Could we kill our opponent here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could. We're gonna wait until next turn to do it, or until our opponent taps out. Okay, we should get him. Nice. Alright, we're 2-0 going into round 3. My eyes are starting to hurt because I have been awake for far too long today. So I hope this one goes quick. Alright, round 3, here we go. Would love to play first. This hand is pretty slow. Actually, I'm going to mulligan that one. Oh man, if we have black mana, this hand is great, but I don't know if we can rely on drawing it. Let's see what our opponent does. If my opponent mulligans, I think I'm going to go to 5. They didn't, but I think I'm still going to go to 5. Okay, this is actually way better. I'm going to put back Quest for the Gravelord and the Plains. So start Plains, play Legion Landing. Make a vampire. Pass the turn. It plays a swamp into an Executioner's Capsule. Draw Yahenni. Play Grateful Apparition. And attack for 1. Would really like to draw an untapped land. Particularly a swamp, because if our opponent lets us attack with 3 creatures, we can flip landing, which is huge, because then we can get down Yawgmoth. Okay, we draw Bloodchief's Thirst, which is okay, but not ideal. So we attack for 2. We're going to kill Grateful Apparition. Okay. We hit them for 1 and go to 22. So F6 on our opponent's turn, because we have nothing we can do. Opponent plays a Flux Channeler. Draw Plains. Play a Yahenni, Undying Partisan. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Flux Channeler is a very scary card. If they block, I will sack the vampire. Because I want to make sure Flux Channeler dies. Okay. This does keep us off of flipping Legion's Landing, but that's okay for now. Kill Flux Channeler, counter on Yahenni. Pass the turn. When it plays an island, Murderous Rider, kill Yahenni. Okay. We draw a Blood Throne Vampire, so play that. Pass the turn. When it plays a Murderous Rider, we draw a Blood-Soaked Champion. So play Blood-Soaked Champion. Go to combat. Attack for 1. If my opponent blocks, we sack the Blood-Soaked Champion, turning Bloodthrone Vampire into a 3/3. Okay. Sack the champion. Opponent has a Teferi's Time Twist. Okay, so they're going to get back Murderous Rider with a 1/1 counter. Opponent plays a Mu Yunling, which is kind of a problem. We get hit for 3, they gain 3. Draw Vizier of Remedies. Play Vizier. Pass the turn. We're just not drawing mana, and we need it. I think next turn we have to have our opponent attack, and then make a token. Riftwing Cloudskate, bouncing Bloodthrone Vampire. They attack for 3, no blocks. They shrink Vizier of Remedies. We untap. Draw a swamp. Play a swamp. And I think we just have to take out Mu Yunling and do it right now. Because she makes very powerful tokens, and her ult also probably wins the game immediately. Okay, opponent attacks for 5. Seems reasonable. Not gonna block. Opponent plays a Warkite Marauder and a Chasm Skulker. Draw planes, play planes. Play Yawgmoth. Do we kill Chasm Skulker or Warkite Marauder right now? Probably. I think Chasm Skulker is a little more dangerous. Warkite Marauder represents, I guess, the same amount of damage for the first turn anyway. They get no squids from us killing Chasm Skulker, as of yet. Okay, opponent attacks. I turn Yawgmoth into a 0/1. Target creature, defending player control. Oh, it has protection from humans, so it can't be targeted. Okay, in that case, we block here. This doesn't have Death Touch. Take 3, go to 6. Untap. Draw a swamp. Play a swamp. Play Bloodthrone Vampire. Pass the turn. This actually does not change anything, but lets us get an additional draw this turn. We're going to kill Warkite Marauder now. We draw Phyrexian Revoker. Play Revoker. I'm going to name Liliana Last Hope again. Okay, that doesn't make our opponent do anything. We can, however, use Yawgmoth to kill Riftwing Cloudskate before it does damage now. We can sack Revoker, put a -1/-1 counter on Cloudskate, then Proliferate to actually kill it. Okay, opponent plays the land. Goes to combat. Attacks. So, block here. Pay 1 life. Sack Revoker. -1/-1 counter there. And then we'll discard a swamp and Proliferate to prevent 1 point of damage. Draw Heliod the Suncrowned, which is a huge boon. Take no more damage this turn. We still need to draw like a Lazotep Reaver or something. That'd be really good here. If we draw a land, we can raid back Bloodsoaked Champion, which I had forgotten was in our grave, but I'm not sure we've been attacking, so it's fine. Okay, opponent victimizes to get back Warkite Marauder and Riftwing Cloudskate. Okay, this is actually super bad. They put Murderous Rider on the bottom of their deck, use Cloudskate to bounce Yawgmoth, and now we're in trouble. Now we need something we can sack to Yawgmoth, we can play in the same turn as Yawgmoth, and we didn't get it. We can't attack to raid back Bloodsoaked Champion. Proliferating doesn't do anything, and Yawgmoth can't sack himself, nor can he block either of our opponent's creatures. So we're going to go ahead and concede. So our opponent is playing like Dimir Tempo, I think I want Ruinous Path. I wouldn't mind Hex Mage here. I'm going to go down Grateful Apparition, and I'm going to go down Spined Thopter. Try like that. Alright, we'll play first. It's really not a bad hand, but we really need to draw mana. I think I have to mulligan. This is a lot better. I'm going to keep Ruinous Path. I'm going to put back Bloodchief's Thirst. So we're probably curving Nether Trader into Heliod, and then Ruinous Path after the fact. Start Swamp, pass the turn. It's possible Nether Trader Heliod is enough to just, like, quickly kill our opponent before they really can do anything. But I do doubt that a little bit. Play Nether Trader. Get in for 1. Okay, opponent goes to 19. Opponent plays a Swamp into a Warkite Marauder. We draw a Mirrorsire. Play Heliod. Go to combat, get in for 1. Lampad of Death's Vigil is going to be pretty sweet. We'd like to draw an untapped land. Well, all of our lands are untapped, so we'd like to draw a land of any kind next turn. So we can give Shadow lifelink and play Mirrorsire. Okay, my opponent plays Mu Yunling and shrinks Nether Trader. Gets in for 2. Removes all of Nether Trader's abilities. We take 2, go to 18. Untap. I think this makes my decision for me, though. I think I have to Ruinous Path Mu Yunling here. There's no real other play that we have. Okay, so we'll pass. Next turn, I'd like to play Fretwork Colony and Mirrorsire, or Mirrorsire and attack with a life-linking Nether Trader. I think that'd be great. Opponent attacks for 2, turns this into a 0-1 without Shadow. Hits us for 2, down to 16. We untap, draw planes, so give it lifelink, go to combat, attack for 1. Opponent makes us sack a creature. Okay. I think they're doing that because we haven't played a land in a while. Okay, second main, play planes, and play Fretwork Colony. Mirrorsire's okay, and Lampad of Death Vigil is okay here, but we want the creature that starts gaining value the longer it's on board. And next turn, if we draw a land, we can play Mirrorsire, play Lampad, and sack Mirrorsire to gain a life and put another 1/1 counter on the Fretwork Colony, or something to that effect. Okay, opponent has a Heartless Act to kill our colony of bugs. Then they attack for 2, and we take 2. Go to 14. Untap. We draw a Revoker. Play Mirrorsire. Play Revoker. Still gonna name Liliana Last Hope. Would have named Mu Yunling, but she's already in the grave, and I doubt my opponent can get her back out of the grave. Okay, opponent plays a Knight of the Ebon Legion. Turns off Revoker. Hits us for 2, down to 12. Opponent is deep in the tank. And my patience is waning pretty fast, simply because it is now past midnight, and I should have been in bed about 2.5 hours ago. But I wanted to get this video done so I could get it out. And we're having a good time, relatively speaking. We are 2-0 at least. They are still in the tank, like a minute later. Did they fall asleep at the keyboard? Okay, they hit us for 2. We untap. Draw Legion's Landing. So play Legion's Landing. Make a soldier. Or a vampire, I guess. Play Lampad. My opponent has a counterspell for Lampad, which is very disheartening. Okay, pass the turn, no attacks. I want to attack with all 3 of these creatures so I can flip Legion's Landing. And making a bunch of individual life-linking soldiers seems really great with Heliod. Just realized how off-screen I've been, basically, this entire recording. Okay, opponent turns off the life-linking soldier. Hit us down to 10. They play a Flesh Carver. We draw Sorin. So go to combat. Attack with everybody. Flip Legion's Landing. See how my opponent blocks. I guess I should have played Sorin because we would put 3 1/1 counters on stuff. The 1/1 counter there. I'm going to pay to get back another trader. Not going to pay for it again, though. Get a random Mirror, and I think we're just going to leave up a Danto now. Playing Sorin onto a board when my opponent doesn't expect it seems more powerful. Okay, opponent untaps. Immediately goes to combat. Attacks with everybody. Turns off the mirror. Make a life-linking token. Block here, block here. Moto. Moto, please. I would like to block here, please. Oh, it has Intimidate. Herp derp. I was like, why is it not letting me do that? And it wasn't giving me the, like, invalid blockers thing that it normally does. Okay. Gain a life. Counter here. Okay. We untap. We draw Blood-Soaked Champion. Play Sorin. Ping my opponent. Gain a life. Put a counter here. Go to combat. Attack for 6 with lifelink. Psionic Blast. They're going to do 4 damage to Phyrexian Revoker and 2 damage to themselves. Alright, not ideal for us, but I can make that work, I guess. Deal 3 to our opponent, take them to 10. We'll gain 3, go to 14, and we'll put another 1/1 counter on Nether Trader. Oh shoot, I forgot to play Blood-Soaked Champion. That's what I get for being real tired. Okay, opponent finally plays a second swamp. Everybody at me. They play a Riftwing Cloudskate and bounce Nether Trader, which is kind of a big deal. Draw a swamp, play a swamp, play Nether Trader. Ping my opponent, counter on Nether Trader. Go to combat. Attack them for 2. I wonder if I should make a token and put the counter on the token. Or just put the counter here. Just make a 1/1 token. I think that's probably fine. Okay. Pass the turn. Yeah, because this way they can't Warkite Marauder and just turn the token into a 0/1 without lifelink. They risk us gaining life on their turn to make Nether Spirit bigger. Okay, opponent goes to combat, swings out. Make a vampire soldier, I guess. They shrink Nether Spirit. Block their vampire with our vampire. Gain 1, take 6. Counter on Nether Trader. What is happening right now? They play a Flux Channeler and a Dire Fleet Hoarder. Draw Lazotep Reaver. Oh, so they're dead. We hit them for 4 with Shadow, we reanimate Lampad of Death's Vigil, and we sack enough creatures to kill our opponent. I think? Yeah, I think that's the only way this works. So hit them down to 3. Reanimate Lampad of Death's Vigil. Play Lazotep Reaver. And the game's over. Alright. On to game 3 of my very tired league. No adjustments. Just run it back. I have a good hand. I mean, this looks like a good hand. I'll keep. So 1, a 2, and a 3, and then with grind back up. We have our recurring creatures. Opponent starts Swamp Thoughtseize. Probably takes Mikaeus. That's the only thing in our hand that does not have value out of the grave at all. They could take Blood-Soaked Champion if they want to stem our aggression. They take Mikaeus, okay? And tap a draw Carrion Feeder. Play Blood-Soaked Champion. Pass the turn. Plays an island and passes back. Draw Yahenni. Play a swamp. Play Nether Trader pre-combat because it has haste. Go to combat and attack for 3. Okay, they repeal the Blood-Soaked Champion and take 1. Play a Knight of the Ebon Legion. We untap. We draw a Bastion of Remembrance. Play Plains. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Now we either play Carrion Feeder, Blood-Soaked Champion this turn, or we play Bastion of Remembrance. Yeah, I think I played Bastion of Remembrance here. It's the turn they're least likely to have a counter spell for it, because the only one we saw that they had was 3 mana. Okay, opponent plays a swamp, attacks with a 1/2, no blocks. Okay, they pump the knight. We draw a swamp, play a swamp. Play Yahenni. Then go to combat. Attack for 4. And I think we play out Blood-Soaked Champion. We already have a sack outlet on board, and it's pretty decent. Yeah, let's get the recurring creature out there so it's ready to attack next turn. If something happens to Yahenni that we can't indestructible her through, then we have Carrion Feeder as backup. Okay, opponent plays a Tabarax, Hope's Demise. Okay. And they play a Skyship Plunderer. Okay. When it goes to combat, does not attack, they pass. So we untap. Draw a Vizier of Remedies. So let's grind. We'll shrink the Knight, shrink the Plunderer. We're going to pay with our white mana here because we want to play Carrion Feeder, but we also want to hold up Nether Trader. Okay, opponent gets a 1/1 counter on Tabarax. That's fine. Yahenni gets a 1/1 counter. Play Carrion Feeder. Go to combat. Swing with the team. Okay, opponent blocks Blood-Soaked Champion with Tabarax. So Yahenni, this does not have Death Touch by default. No, okay. So we're going to sack Blood-Soaked Champion to Carrion Feeder. Drain our opponent for 1. Opponent loses a guy, Yahenni grows larger. Okay. Pass the turn. Opponent is going to spread the sickness, destroy our Carrion Feeder, and then proliferate. So, sack Nether Spirit. Opponent loses a life. Then sack Carrion Feeder. Get back Nether Trader. I keep saying Nether Spirit, don't I? I mean Nether Trader. Okay, opponent loses another life. We stop them from proliferating because we fizzled the spell. Opponent does not attack. We untap and draw Mere Sire. So go to combat. Attack with everybody. Okay, opponent blocks Yahenni. So sack Nether Trader. Opponent loses life. Yahenni becomes indestructible. Tabarax dies. Yahenni gets bigger. Can we kill our opponent? I think so. So play Mere Sire. Sack Mere Sire. Reanimate Nether Trader. Make a token. Sack Nether Trader. Wow, Nether Trader was one of our best picks, and by far. Okay, reanimate Nether Trader. Does this sack another creature or sacrifice a creature? Opponent concedes. We get a treasure chest, 2 qualifier points, and 150 play points. Let's go ahead and open this treasure chest, and then I am going to call this league a success. So treasure chest gets us 10 play points and a daring thief. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough of Proliferate Cube, us playing Orzhov Aristocrats. I want you to know that you're all wonderful human beings, and I will see you all next time. I am exhausted. Bye!